1. Crawford and Ott were eyeballing the body that lay on the beach behind the breakers. Ott was down in a crouch. Crawford was snapping photos on his iPhone. Even for veteran detectives from the mean streets of New York and Cleveland, it was not a pretty sight. The dead man appeared to be in his 60s, wearing khaki pants and a blue shirt. It was apparent the creatures of the sea had had their way with him. A bullet hole in the middle of his chest indicated that someone of the human species had as well. The victim's skin was slug-white and wrinkled, and he had a bulky Breitling watch that was still ticking even though his heart no longer was. It was 6:30 a.m. An early morning beach stroller had called Palm Beach PD an hour ago with shock and horror in her voice. Crawford had been at the station at the time of the call, while Ott had come to the scene directly from his house. "Shot him somewhere on the beach, then dragged him into the water," Ott weighed in, glancing up at Crawford. "Or maybe dumped him from a boat." Crawford nodded as he took another photo with his iPhone. "Haas on his way?" Ott asked. Bob Haas had been the medical examiner for Palm Beach County for 25 years. Way longer than he should have been as far as Crawford was concerned. "Yeah, it should be any minute," said Crawford. Crawford looked up and saw a kid and a dog walking toward them. He held up his hand and walked in their direction. "Sorry, son, but you can't come any closer." The boy's eyes were big. "Is that man okay?" "You're going to have to turn around and go back," Crawford said, pointing over the boy's shoulder. "Okay," said the boy reluctantly, still eyeing the body. Then he turned, gave a tug to the dog's leash, and started walking away. 3 uniforms came down to the beach, having parked in one of the breakers' parking lots. Crawford put a hand up to his mouth and shouted to them, "You guys got any tape?" One of them, Stan Galuli, held up a roll of yellow crime scene tape. "Good. I need you over there, Stan." He pointed to where the boy had just come from. "And John, over there." He pointed to the other side of the beach. "Don't let anyone get anywhere close." He looked up at the breakers and saw a cluster of people looking down at them. One had a pair of binoculars and 2 others had cameras. He saw a cameraman from WPEC News, the CBS affiliate. "Tape off the path, Hal," Crawford told the third cop. "Between those 2 trees." He pointed to 2 Chinese podocarpus. "Make sure those people stay up there," Crawford said. "Even the press." "Especially the press," Ott mumbled. Then Crawford saw the figure of Bob Haas part the crowd, no doubt telling the public to make way so he could get to the crime scene before the clueless cops messed it up. Haas wore gray flannel pants and a shirt that looked more like a pajama top, totally inappropriate for a June day that was already north of 80 degrees. Ott hadn't noticed the ME yet. He was busy taking notes in his vintage leather-bound notebook that he'd had since way back when. "Haas is about to make his entrance," Crawford said under his breath. Ott groaned as he stood up straight and pocketed the notebook. A few minutes later, Haas walked up to them, his black Corfam high-gloss tie shoes having taken on a few spoonfuls of sand. "Boys," Haas said with a nod to Crawford and Ott before he looked down at the body. "Holy shit!" His eyes were as big as the gut hanging over his white plastic belt. "What?" Crawford asked. "That's Clyde Lodeholt." "Who's Clyde Lodeholt?" "He was chief of police here 15 years ago," Haas said, bending down for a closer look. "That watch, he got that when he retired. Clyde was a damn fine chief. Everyone loved the guy." Crawford didn't point out the obvious. Everyone except at least one.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.